Welcome to the Wedding Obsessed podcast designed to help you plan your dream day. I'm your host, Adriana, and each week I'm joined by the wedding industry's top professionals, celebs, influencers, and friends who share tips, trends, advice, and mistakes they've made so you don't have to. This is the Pre Nup podcast.
Today is, of course, because Vic is back, another movie recap as promised. Jumping the Broom.
Oh, what a movie.
What a gorgeous.
What a movie.
How good. It's better than I remember. I haven't watched it in probably 7,
I haven't
8
watched
years,
it
something
since
like
it
that.
probably came out.
Really?
And my first thought of thoughts, and I'm just going to share it really quick, was like, you are usually the first person I call.
Yes.
With anything when I'm appalled about anything,
Yes.
whether it's like something my husband did or a friend or something. And the fact that me and you like to keep things like fresh, new,
don't talk
and
about the movie.
undiscussed. The fact that I couldn't call you this entire movie was very difficult.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, Tor would die for this.
And I was dying.
So let's jump right into it because this is an evening recording. You've got a son to attend to, and I don't want to take too much of your time. But
Let's go.
we, of course, are reviewing, recapping 2011's Jumping the Broom, starring Paula Patton. So hot.
Everyone in this movie is hot.
Everyone in this movie is so hot. So we're switching up the way we do it a little bit today.
Yes.
Won't harp too much on that, but you'll see, and it'll be all good. So
Yes.
we are going to start with just a little recap of the movie. Hopefully everyone did their homework and watched, and what fun homework to have, right?
Right.
But quick little synopsis. Sabrina Watson and Jason Taylor quickly decide to get married after a whirlwind romance. They are certain they're meant to be together, but Jason's mom, Pam, isn't convinced. Seemingly nothing and no one is good enough for her son, especially not Sabrina, her wealthy, elegant family, and their exquisite Martha Vineyards estate, where the nuptials are set to be held, unless Pam can figure out a way to drive a wedge between Sabrina, Jason, and Sabrina's family before the two say I do.
Right.
Vic, guess the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Okay. I'm going to be generous and I'm going to give it 50% Rotten
You
Tomatoes
are-
with the critics.
You were so close. It was a 50,
I'm shocked that I'm close.
a 50.
You know, I'm usually right on.
Yeah. It was a
58, okay, so I'm not too far.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. So the title of the movie is also a somewhat pivotal plot point as well,
Right.
Jumping the Broom. So
Which obviously is getting married, yes.
of course. So they touch on it in the movie, Jumping the Broom, and the significance of it when slaves.
It's a hot scene.
It's a hot scene. Oh,
Yeah.
and we will.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But back in the day, slaves weren't legally allowed to get married, so the broom was symbolic of a marriage. And now their
Yes.
predecessors do that to honor and validate their marriages. But
Right.
it got me to thinking about just different cultural
You got
things.
to thinking.
It got us to thinking.
Okay.
I got us to thinking a lot of that.
Let's hear it.
And what wedding cultural practices or symbolism do you love best?
And I think I've said this when we've recorded before. Nothing is like warms my heart more than the Jewish tradition of both of your parents walking down the aisle.
That's beautiful.
Which there's nothing I loved more than my father, who I adore. He's my best friend in the world.
Yeah.
Walking me down the aisle, but like I just think there's something so nice about like both of the people who raised you doing it. Like,
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful.
and if you have both of those people in your life to do it, it's such a nice thing.
yeah, or just, the pivotal
Yes.
people. I love that too. I also love the horror, like
Oh,
dancing the
my
horror.
gosh, yes.
What's better?
And the breaking of the glass.
And I don't
so
want to just.
basically, we want to be Jews.
Yeah, we're Jewish in another life, but we love the
Yes.
Jews, but we are
Right.
Catholic, raised Catholic.
Yes,
And
Roman
we are
Catholics.
Roman Catholics, Italian, which brings me to another tradition that I do so love, which is the serenade.
Oh, the serenade's
The ser-
cute.
Yes. So the serenade.
Explain for those who aren't familiar.
Sure. So it originated in Italy, and it was an event for neighbors, families, friends who maybe weren't able to attend the wedding. It was a pre-celebration wherein the groom sits the bride down and serenades her a beautiful song. So it made its way to the United States, but I believe that it's really just prominently now a South Philly Italian thing.
Which we enjoy whenever we get thrown a bone to go.
Sure do.
They're great.
Sure
Yes.
do. Oh, they're so fun.
The last one I intended would be Cousin Carmen Nick. Excellent.
An excellent serenade. And
Yes, yes.
did Carmen do Coldplay? Is that what he's saying?
Yes, he did.
Which Yellow?
Gallo. And I think he did 2 songs. We all bet that he would do 3, but he did 2. And he did, I believe, Nick's Favorites. And I have to say, your cousin Carmen has a beautiful voice.
He
and
does.
it was fantastic.
It was precious,
Yeah,
precious,
we loved
adorable.
it. Yes.
And they're always so cute. Even I love just someone leaning into it, even if they don't
Right.
have a good voice.
Right.
Just go for it.
Exactly.
If you were going to serenade someone or be serenaded by your husband, John, what song would you like to be
I don't know
serenaded
why,
with?
just, and you know I'm really bad at coming up with songs on the spot, but
Yeah.
it's just popped into my head. You're just too good to be true. And I thought
And then a
that
horn
was-
section comes
Yes.
out. Oh, it's so 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes, it is. Maybe I was thinking of that.
Oh, that's cute. I
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm,
Very
yeah.
cute.
What would you do?
Oh, me? I would probably choose something that Jake loves to sing. He loves to sing John Legend, and he is really good at it, and he
Okay.
knows it. I might do Let's Go to the Park.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
wanna kiss you underneath the stars. That's it's a bop and a half. But back to just the broom of it all.
Right. Let's go.
A lot of times now, families will pass down their broom that they've jumped, or they'll use it as kind of like a guest book thing where people sign their broom,
that's
which is
cute.
it's very cute, very
Yes.
very cute. So let's get into the movie, shall we?
Let's do it.
So
Get into it.
I'm going to start with Sabrina and Jason get engaged after dating for just 6 months. Do you think it's because they're soulmates or because Sabrina is essentially a born again virgin? So we see that she's been fucking.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I so wish that they omit that first scene. Like
I did
thought it
too.
was so like unnecessary to the film. Like I would have loved the film so much more if they didn't show her like getting down and dirty in the beginning. Like I wish that she was just always like, not that I'm against sleeping with people before marriage. Like live your life, but like the way she acted throughout the film, and we'll get to my opinion on her. I just wish that she just never slept with anyone.
It made me almost think that that scene was added in later
Right.
because it was
not
so
unnecessary.
unnecessary.
Yeah, it was so unnecessary. I agree.
Yeah, and the way
I'm
she
glad
acts
you were
for
on
the
the
rest
same
of the
page.
movie is this she's like a
This-
Christian Holy
Yes,
Ghost,
like she's
waiting.
above
And
like
she
sleeping.
never tells Jason that she's slept
Right,
with
I
other
thought
people.
actually, and I had seen the film before, but I kept thinking the second time around watching it that would come up, that was something that would come up
Right.
as another problem. But as we'll get into, there's many problems.
Sure.
We don't need an extra one. So
No
Right.
more problems necessary.
right, but yes, I wish they would have omitted that first scene altogether. I could have did without.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but given that it is the way it is, do
Right.
you think that they were getting married so that they could have sex? Or do you think that they were just so in love, head over heels?
I'm gonna go 90% so in love.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go 10 that he needed to get his cookies,
Oh my
as
God.
he called it.
His cookies.
Yeah.
And she called them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I wanted to get my cookies after I saw her in her lingerie. Is anyone hotter than Paula Patton?
There's literally no one hotter than Paula
body,
Patton.
the face.
the smile,
She's gorgeous.
the voice, like
There's
everything about her.
there is no one more attractive than Paula Patton.
Way to fucking drop the ball, Robin
Right.
Thicke. You
Yes.
moron.
And we'll get to Robin Thicke. There was
a
we'll get
Robin-
to,
yeah,
there was
yeah.
a- we'll get to him. We'll
Yeah.
get to him. Okay.
Okay, so what did you think of the proposal? So I think this is a really funny trope that often happens in movies or shows. I don't know if this actually happens in real life. If it has happened to anyone, please write in and let
Okay.
me know. But making the proposee feel that they are being broken up with and then surprising them with an engagement.
Oh yeah, that's too much.
I think it's heavy.
Yes.
I don't like it.
before I got engaged, I was not in fear
No.
that we were breaking up. I just thought we were doomed to be boyfriend and girlfriend for the rest of our lives.
Sure.
And I had come to terms with it after years.
Sure.
But
And you weren't even old.
no, it wasn't old, but I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I
Over
had
it.
given up.
Mhm.
But yes, I think that's crazy. But
Right.
I've heard so many people that are great couples say it.
Really?
Yes, just like that they were like something was up. He was
I think-
acting so off. I thought it was like the end. Like great couples.
Yes. I think that's more often
Yes.
they're just not They're like, oh my God, he was so weird all week. Actually, Ali Stignata said that to me when she was on the
that must be
podcast.
more recently where I heard it.
Yeah, she was like, he was just acting so weird. And,
Right.
you know, and she was
And
like,
that's not the first time I heard it. I remember her
Yes.
saying it and just being like, that's not the first time I heard that.
yeah, very interesting. Okay, so we both, you know, not big
Yeah.
fans of the snipe proposal, but we meet Sabrina's family first. in
Wait,
the
can we
movie.
just quick go through? Like, I just have a quick note before we meet Sabrina's family. My note was, why am I crying at all of the wedding portraits in the opening credits?
too. I thought that
And
was so cute.
Literally, like teary eyed, and the hair. Do you know what? Like, my biggest takeaway was the hair pieces.
Interesting.
They were
I
like
didn't really
through the
take
years.
note.
Like the very first one I think they showed was like a beaded, like it's like a draped beaded across her forehead, and it's beautiful. And like as the years go past, you see obviously like we're going through the years and time is moving on, but like
Yeah.
every like hair piece was
so
so
if anyone
great.
is confused, that we're talking about the montage in the beginning, the rolling credits in the opening. There's all of these historic photos
Yes.
of people getting married, and I don't know if there were family members of people in the film or not.
That
I
would
didn't
be
look
nice
into
if
that.
They were. I should have.
Yeah, I should have looked into that too, but I didn't.
They were like beautiful black brides and grooms,
Yes.
and like the most beautiful hair pieces.
Yeah, I love a nice
Me
hair
too.
piece.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
for sure.
Get back ahead, continue. So the families meet.
So we meet Sabrina's family first, and most importantly, we meet
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett did the thing.
I knew you would do it.
Claudine, I just
Queen icon legend, Angela Bassett.
she is. I mean, obviously,
Yes.
she's the star of this film. She's the star of.
So rude. And honestly,
rude.
yes, you look as young as Paula Patton.
She is gorgeous. She's absolutely so stunning. She
Right?
exudes class, elegance,
It's
extravagance, and she, like any good mother, is a little bit concerned that maybe the kids are going a little too fast, and she makes it known. But what she seems a little bit more concerned about is there wasn't even enough time to have a bridal shower or a bachelorette party.
Right.
So I wanted to talk to you about that. So what do
I
you
don't think they're necessary.
I don't either. I
wish we would just get rid of the whole lot.
listen, I
You
love
want to take a girl's trip? Take a girl's trip.
Sure.
Have fun. Be with your friends. And even, you know me, my shower. You threw me, my maid of honor here. She threw me the most beautiful shower. It was excellent. She did my registry for me. I have to be honest, I took back half of the things on my registry and I bought a gorgeous bar cart with half of the things on my registry. I just don't think they're necessary.
not for everyone and for everything.
No, I think in olden times it made sense when
course.
people like were building their home and you bought the things for your home.
yes.
Today, like I lived with John for how many years before I had a bridal shower?
Yeah.
We had our stuff. And by we had our stuff, I mean I stole stuff from mommy. So,
And half of your registry stuff is still in her garage.
exactly.
6 years later.
Yes.
No, but I think it's not one size fit all. I think if you really want to have a shower and bachelorette, do it, but don't do it just because
do
you
it.
feel like you have to. You definitely don't.
I couldn't agree more.
And I also love a quick turnaround time. Okay, we
Oh,
got
me too.
engaged. Let's get
Me
married.
too, yes.
Because the long engagements, you have time to really ruminate and start to stress about
You
unnecessary
call it
things.
ruminate, I'm going to call it fester. It's too much time.
It's too much time sometimes, but I will
Jonathan
say,
had a quick turnaround time, and I would say there was too much
months.
time to fester. Too much time. I would say do it fair. I would say perfect time would be like go shoot for 8 months.
here's the thing though.
Go
8
ahead.
months-
You're a
8
planner.
months
You
is-
know best than me.
Listen, 8
Yes.
months, yes, like that's great. Good work if you can get it, right?
Yes.
But quick turnaround times are for rich people, a la the Watson family
Right.
of Jumping the Broom.
Mhm.
Because you can hire someone and they do everything and you just tell them and you don't really have to think about it. But a normal person, even if they're hiring a planner, someone of average wealth or even a little bit above average wealth, they still have to put in the work and leave that cushion time not only for planning, but the cushion time for budget. So
Yes.
to spend all of that so quickly for a lot of people is not feasible. So sometimes, a 2-year engagement is a little bit strategic so that we can spread things
That
out
makes
a little
sense.
bit.
I always assumed that people did that just because the venues weren't available.
And that too. And especially,
Which I say to all brides planning, you don't need a proposal to book your venue. You don't. Do a soft hold. When they call you and tell you, listen, you need to pull the trigger, let it go then. If you're not ready. If you didn't propose then.
Bingo.
Put a soft hold.
Put a soft hold.
Put a soft hold.
I agree. And I've had so many brides do that. We call them pre-engaged. And it's literally fine. If you know it's coming, why not? But, not everyone's comfortable with it. I do get that. I do get that.
That's coming from someone who had a wedding obsessed sister who told me to just go look for dresses before my husband proposed.
Yeah,
and
why not?
I didn't end up, but I wish I would have because you were furious by the time I found a dress at the 8th
We
place.
went to 12 places.
Yeah, she was sick of it. And listen, I'm picky. Like, I wish I just would have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you chose a gorgeous gown. It all turned out really well. It's absolutely perfect.
Shout out Layla Rose.
Okay, so we set the scene early with Mom. Sabrina and Jason are choosing readings for the wedding with the Reverend. And Jason makes mention that there's a reading that is his mom's favorite. And Sabrina says, well, when your mom gets remarried, we'll read that to her.
And that's where we should have known.
Well, I know. So
that'll get to my opinion.
I thought that was a good...
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Continue. I did think that was a good boundary to set. But yeah, as you said, we should have known.
Because I got to a point in the movie where Sabrina, Paula Patton's gorgeous and her giddy little voice, we can get away with it so long, but she is a brat. Jason calls her a brat at one point in the movie, and that's exactly what she is. She's a brat.
She absolutely is a
brat. She's outrageous.
Now, to a certain extent, I do get it with the reading up front. That was the first offense.
I wish she just left it there.
I wish she did too, but it is true. Like, it's okay. It's not your mom's wedding. It is my wedding. And I am obviously the Christian one. And this is my reverend. And, I'm going to choose the readings. Like, we're not going to do everything that your mom wants. And that should be setting the stage for the marriage. But we do, just jumping ahead to a later conversation about the broom jumping, Jason's more interested in jumping the broom than Sabrina, even though he doesn't really care.
Right.
But he says, Sabrina says to Jason, if you don't care and I don't want to do it, then why would we do it? And he says, because it would make my mom happy and she's done a lot for me my whole life.
Right. And he mentioned at some point that he was like writing checks.
Yes.
Like, you're paying. Yeah. It means something to your mom. Like, Sabrina throughout this film is a spoiled brat.
She's being a brat. And
she's the villain of the film.
I get a lot of
I got that at the end, that she is the villain of the film.
Okay.
I did.
Take.
That's how I felt at the end. I'm like, you're gorgeous and you get away with it with your little smile, but you are the villain of this film.
She's so hot. But that is really interesting that you found her to be villain, because I found someone else to be the villain, and it was Pam.
Pam is Jason's mother.
Mom.
I sympathize with her for a little bit. I really did.
In some respects I do, but we'll get to her fully.
Go ahead.
But I get a lot of heat from the freaks on the internet who have never left their house and for some reason feel like they need to attack someone talking about weddings online.
Okay.
But I am of the belief that your family does matter when it comes to your wedding.
100%.
And their thoughts and opinions. Not everything. Like, there's some things where it's like, all right, I'm putting my foot down. But so many people, it doesn't matter what they think. It's my day. It should be this way.
No,
okay, then go elope. Don't have them involved then. If no one matters to you and nothing matters, then just go elope.
There's so many people like that, though. It's a disgrace. But there are people like that. And it's funny that you're mentioning on this, because on the way here, I was just listening to your episode with Mandy.
Yes.
And I was literally, as I was pulling into your driveway, I was getting to the family section where you're discussing is there a line between people pleasing and being considerate to families.
Yes.
And that brings me to the most appalling scene in the film, which is when they're at the rehearsal dinner.
Oh, yeah.
And dear sweet Shonda, who is Pam's best friend.
Shonda.
This was, to me, the biggest scene in the film. Says she's so excited for the electric slide at the wedding, and Sabrina, so cocky, goes like, "We told the DJ not to encourage the slide." Well, fucking untell him.
Yeah, that was really rude. That
How dare you?
Also-
If somebody who is so important, your mother's dearest friend, your mother-in-law to be is dearest friend,
Yes.
is so excited about a dance. Do the dance. Is it that big of a deal to you?
But also, it's just something that didn't need to be said. You could have been like, "Oh yeah," and then just
like,
not played
and
it.
that's just to me why she's the villain of the film.
She's a
just
brat.
to say so. She's a spoiled, rotten brat.
She's a total brat.
I couldn't take her the whole film.
well,
I really like it was then that sealed the fate, but I was like, this girl, she does it with a smile and she's so hot because it's Paula Patton. Of
course.
she gets away with it, but
Yeah.
she was outrageous the whole film.
Well-
Jason calls her a brat at one point,
does.
and he's validated in saying it.
he is right. He's wrong for a lot of things, but he's right in that for sure.
Yes.
But bratty Sabrina thinks she's gotten her whole life, and she's
hasn't
going to
she?
get her way. But she don't know Pam, and Pam
Is here to stay.
is here to stay, and she's here to get what she wants. So it's
Yeah.
going to be Pam's way or the highway. Pam is played by iconic Loretta Devine, and on its face, Pam has every right to be concerned. She has never met her son's fiance. It's a very quick relationship, quick engagement, quick marriage.
Mhm.
They're moving to China for her job. So she's like bringing the
Right.
son to another country. So I get it. It's
Right.
concerning. But the way that she treats everyone except for Greg, because, he charms her, and
Right.
Sabrina's dad, Greg.
Oh, he's I mean, is anyone more handsome than Greg?
Greg.
He reminds me so much of Daddy.
Really? He
Like, just a
literally
handsome
is
guy
Barack
who says-
Obama to me.
Oh, that's which those two are not the same.
Not the same.
But like just like
The way they
quiet,
act.
like yes,
Yeah.
like just
And
be nice
just
to
the look,
everyone,
kind of,
polite.
like-
Yeah, similar look. Yes.
Greg is if Daddy and Barack Obama had a baby.
Yes, agreed. Okay, perfect. Like even the hair, like they're
Totally.
so similar.
Similar to
Cristobal, who's about to be a father. Shout out. Yes.
Let's see. So Pam is really, really mean to everyone, and she is really blaming Sabrina and her family for all the things that Jason has actually done. She won't put any of the blame on her baby boy, which is such a common thing of mothers and sons.
You think?
Am I right?
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, you were a mother to a son.
I
Can your
am.
Dewey gumdrops do any wrong?
I told you the second he has a woman in his
Don't
life.
you say this and implicate yourself on camera.
True, I shouldn't say a
Yeah,
word.
you do
but
not.
Dewey's my whole heart and soul.
Yes, sure is. Do not get yourself in trouble here.
Yes.
Okay, so the families meet. It's so awkward. Pam is so mean to everyone, of course, except Greg, Brian Stokes.
Right. And who starts it? Let's start with that. Pam starts it.
Pam starts it. She is
This is Jason's family. Jason's family starts the war.
Jason's family certainly does start the war. Actually, Sabrina's family was very ready and willing to be open,
Polite,
and loving.
hospitable. Yes.
Yes. So
They weren't thrilled, but they're so polite, they weren't going to let on to that.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. But Sabrina does really add some fuel to the fire. To this
She's a spoiled brat.
This woman is clearly
Mhm.
pissed. Obviously, you're going to need to win over your mother-in-law, but instead, yoo-hoo, you come into the room and tell her, a woman that you've never met, that you've chosen 2 dresses for her to pick from for your wedding because you wanted everyone in
and
buff.
any woman knows that would not be okay.
If Dewey had a fiance and
Yes.
he's in this exact scenario, you come to stay with her rich family and you're kind of butthurt about it. And she comes in and says, I got 2 dresses for you and you can pick from them for the wedding. What do you say?
I have to be completely honest with the context given in this film.
Sure.
I would be over the moon that Dewey found a rich family.
Sure.
And also, if my daughter-in-law to be looked like Paula Patton, I'd be like, whatever you so choose, my dear.
Would you?
Yes, but if it was anything like look lesser than to me, I would be like, fuck the fuck off.
If we have it our way with Mila, some more.
Could you imagine?
Do
And
we have
treat
Mila
of our treats.
Oh my God.
Yes,
that would be so
We
cute.
found a betrothed for him.
Yes, and she's
we're hoping
perfect.
it just ends that way.
Yes.
for all.
They are 3.
Yes.
And
We're hoping that's the end.
they're in love.
Right.
It's fine.
Right.
They are in love.
But
They're so cute.
if I'm in that kind of situation and the girl's that gorgeous and I know like
You
her family
would
is
never
that
let
stylish.
someone pick your dress. Come
would
on.
See, you don't give me enough credit. I feel like if somebody's stylish, if you found something for me and you were like, I found the perfect thing for you,
Yeah.
I would give you I would.
You would entertain it, but you would have final say.
I would have final say, but I feel like I'd be excited to see what someone stylish came up with for me. But
Someone who doesn't know you.
But given the circumstances in this movie, I would be like, this person never came to see me over the bridge.
Yes.
To Brooklyn. This person, like, I'm hurt now. My
Yeah.
son didn't include me in the first
And now they're just
initial meeting.
picking some
Yes,
dress
I
even
would
though
be
they don't know me.
I would be very hurt.
I would be hurt
Yes.
too. I thought Sabrina was really
I agree. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna get to now the welcome dinner, where
Okay.
things really come to a head.
Right.
So there's a huge argument at the welcome dinner because Pam gives the rudest blessing of all time.
And that brings me to my note of the MVP of the film. Which is Uncle Willie Earl, who's always trying to save face, tells
He's so
Pam
cute.
when she's wrong. And I couldn't understand in the movie if he was Pam's brother or
It's the father's brother.
Okay, but he puts Pam right in her place.
He does.
He does.
He does. Well, they've known each other a long time. You know,
Right.
they're like,
and I loved it. MVP, Uncle Willie Earl, and I love so much that Angela Bassett refers to him in the film as William Earl. So good.
This movie is so good.
It's so good.
I forgot how much I loved it. Mommy and I used to watch it.
Yeah.
Like
It's
pretty
a good
often,
one.
actually.
I only ever watched it because you and Mommy liked it so much.
Oh my God, love. I mean, it's so good and a really good soundtrack. The soundtrack was basically
yes, yes.
Oh, with a hint of Daddy. We'll get
Yes.
there. Let's see. Okay, so Pam won't stop throwing digs, and then it turns into
There's a fight at
it's
the
hit for
rehearsal
tat.
dinner.
Yeah,
Yes.
like slavery gets involved. It's a big.
Oh, it's bad.
yeah,
Yes.
it's really bad. But Auntie Geneva comes and saves it with some comic relief.
Wait, and I have a note on that because I was like, what is going on?
She comes in
Go ahead,
and
you
does a
talk and then I'll
rendition
give-
of sexual healing.
Yes.
To everyone's enjoyment and amusement, except for Claudine.
And Jason didn't seem to like it. The two of them didn't seem to like it. And I
Yeah.
don't know if we touch on this either, but like we did, but like they are saving themselves. They're not having sex
Right.
before marriage, and that's
And
a
Geneva
big.
knows that.
There's a big point, like they say that, and like everyone's talking about it the entire lead up to the wedding.
Yes.
That they're like, they seem to all be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're waiting. How
Right.
is this man waiting? Like,
Right.
yada yada yada." I don't get how he's waiting either. Look at Paula Patton. Like,
I mean,
right?
woo,
And I
worth
don't get
the
how Paula
wait.
Patton's waiting either.
I know.
Jason is handsome.
Jason's hot, but no one's hotter than Paul
but
Patton.
Willie Earl loving every second of sexual healing from Geneva.
Yeah. He is such a crush. It's so
Everyone
cute.
liking it. After the big feud that ensued at that dinner, that everyone could put a brave face on and smile at Geneva.
Honestly, she saved the night.
She saved the night, but plot point wise, like it made absolutely no sense that everyone would get over it with a big appalling thing of like the aunt being sexual healing.
I totally get it. Like that.
Do you?
That to me would smooth everything over. If we were on a big fight
I'm
and then
shocked.
someone came up and started singing sexual healing, how are you
I'd
not
laugh,
gonna
but
laugh?
I would-
It totally takes the air out of.
Okay, listen, I would
The
100%.
tension.
I would 100% laugh, but like later, I'd be like, "Do you believe the stuff that went down at that dinner? Like
I would
things
be like,
she said to me. We
"Oh,
were talking
yes,
about slavery,
So fancy. Aunt Geneva is insane.
right? But
Insane.
like even like Angela Bassett and Greg, is his name's Greg's in the movie. Like
Yes.
they loved it. Like everyone's like sexual healing.
Angela
Like,
Bassett was agitated.
she did a little laugh.
She did a little laugh.
Everyone seemed thrilled to death with sexual healing.
Yes.
And my notes was like, I couldn't believe that we went from like 6 to midnight. Like
Pam,
what?
Well, Pam, I remember Pam giving a smirk because she saw that Claudine was like a little bit annoyed. So she was
Okay,
like,
so
gave
she
this
liked
face
it,
of
okay.
like, but
Yeah.
then Claudine confronts Geneva later in the night. Pam overhears a conversation wherein it is revealed to both the audience and Pam that Auntie Geneva is actually Sabrina's birth mother and she was 16 when she had her. But because Claudine and Greg were already married, they took her in as her own and have never looked at her anything other than their daughter.
Which was a big influence by, they keep referencing her, grandmère. Do they call her?
Yes,
Grandmère.
which of course in French is grandmother, grandpère from Daniel Tiger.
From Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. My son loves it.
Grandpère. So he specifically loves grandpère.
So like, yes. So we know that from then. And then Geneva with the low blow and the smacks in the face. That scene
that
is
was dark. That was really, really dark.
It was too much.
There's a lot of family contention going on. We then soon find out that Greg has really fumbled the ball and has lost
Gambled all the way. Family's money.
Family money. Yes.
Don't fret. Gets better.
Yeah.
But
it does get better. So
but
it's
yes,
fine.
there's 2 smacks in the face of sisters. And I found it so interesting.
Sisters now.
No, it's not. And that's what I noted. I would say like it would at least be at least a week before I like was able to discuss things. And I wonder if it was wedding week, if I could look past it. But if me and
You would have to.
if me and you whacked each other like across the face on a dock, the next day the 2 were giggling.
Yeah.
I don't think we could get
sisters do. To where yes, it is because
Just let you know, if you hit me in the face, it's going to be at least a week until I giggle with you.
if we both hit each other in the face,
I can't even imagine. Like, we stopped beating each other years ago.
yeah, at least 15 years ago.
Yes.
But the last fight that we got in like a heated,
I can
screaming
remember
match,
like it was yesterday.
I was planning your wedding.
Yes. That was my out of line.
It
I'm
was-
thinking of the one before that.
We
We were in
out
high
of
school.
line. No,
No,
again, this
you
was,
weren't out
this
of
was
line.
planning
No,
your
I was
wedding.
out of line. I was throwing things and all. I was
It's
stressed out at the wedding.
It's
It was my fault.
stressful.
I'm
But
a big
that was the
goof.
last fight we were in. Okay.
We were fine later at the day because you looked past my animal behavior and you knew I was stressed out. It was animalistic.
I think
was
that
acting
mine was
really
too.
goofy.
I think mine was too.
Asia, I'm thinking of like, and now I'm thinking there was 2 physical before that, and those are the 2 in my head.
The kick
they
in the
were so-
stomach.
Age I was like 10 years old. there.
No, you were like 16.
Okay, fine. But I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking the time mommy and daddy were away. And I just,
When
you
I threw
took
the
your
party?
beating like a man. No, I didn't beat you there. Mommy and daddy were away, and I was just like, you need to clean this, that. And then you were doing your normal, like, yeah, I'll do it.
Busy.
Sure. Smiling. Do you know what? Paula Patton reminded me so much of you in this. Like, sweet and pretty, and you smile at everything you say, but like, how are you going to argue with someone who's so sweet and nice about it? And it's like, I had it with the sweet and nice, and I was like, you need to fucking clean your room. Mom's at her best. And I beat you. You took it like a man, and it was over there.
That's why I never got in trouble when we were young, though. Because
Never.
mommy and daddy would tell me to do
Never.
something, and I'd be like, okay. And then I wouldn't do it. And you would do it begrudgingly. And they would be like,
And-
she's such a bitch. But she's doing everything.
And that is still the case till this day.
Yeah. It's,
Middle child syndrome. I'm the poster child for it. So,
you certainly are.
Yes.
But that's why we love you.
thanks. Thanks a million.
So Fam Squad is a mess. Things
Outrageous,
are in
yes.
disarray. At the rehearsal, Malcolm, Jason's cousin, finds out that he is not the best man. And that just brings me into
Shout out to Pooch Hall. You
Shout
know
out to
I
Pooch
love me some Pooch
He's
Hall.
so fucking funny.
So funny. He's so funny, but he annoyed me in this film. Like,
He
he
was
was
an
such a
asshole.
goody two shoes.
Yeah.
Brat, like, don't come between family, Pooch. We don't need you here.
Yeah, he was
How dare
he was
you.
like an asslick a little bit.
Yes.
Didn't you
like-
think?
Oh, 100%.
Well,
yes.
that just brings me to a point of bridal parties in general. And I'm really not a proponent of bridal parties. I've
Right.
come to really not love them. And that could change. I'm an evolving person. So if I say
Coming
something
from
different,
the person who has 1,000 close friends and a huge bridal party.
I had a huge bridal party and I don't regret it.
Right.
And I think that if you want to have a bridal party, you should.
Right.
But I think it doesn't make sense for everyone. And it a lot of times causes unnecessary drama such as this situation. So
Yeah.
cousin thinks he's going to be the best man.
Right.
And
rightfully so.
yeah, absolutely. Like
Right.
in a standard scenario, you just look the other
you would
way.
pick your dearest friend of life, and that would have been
Yeah, but
cousin. Yeah.
Jason chose someone that he is currently
should
closer with and, who he feels supports him and his decisions in his
Right.
marriage. And he felt like his cousin really didn't. What do you think about that? Do you think it doesn't matter whether.
Well, Jason, if you watch the film, gets into it. Like, you haven't been a friend to me in the past 2 years. I've been promoted several times. You weren't there to support me. You seem jealous of my endeavors. But I think as someone like who's very family oriented, I would see that as somebody who's just like hurt that somebody's moving past them in so many things. And
I would just see it as a hiccup. Do you know what I mean? A hiccup in the relationship. But to me, weddings they're one of those things that if you sever a tie during a wedding,
you're setting a precedence.
And you'll always look back and remember and you'll hang on to that. So I've had friends who have had near fallings out right before the wedding. Right. And I've said to them, you might not want to hang your hat on this. Maybe let's revisit it after the wedding, because you're never going to regret having them there, but you're going to regret not having them there.
Especially if they're family. You can't get rid of them.
Or
I'm sorry.
family.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because we're speaking of best man, I just have to quick touch on Maid of Honor Blythe. I'm sorry. I love me some Megan Good.
I love Megan Good.
Is anyone hotter?
Oh my God.
I know.
It's like tough. Between her and Paula Patton.
It's very difficult.
That's
and then I also said, while I couldn't at the end of the day recommend this film to anyone because it's not great. I would love a sequel called Yes Chef with Blythe and Chef.
So let's get into Blythe and Chef really quick. I had this in my standouts to go to when we were done.
Stick to standouts at the end. We could do standouts later.
We can, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, let's go through it, and then we'll get into Chef and Blythe and our standouts.
Sure.
So let's get to the football game tradition. So it's mentioned earlier in the film, but then we get to the actual football game. Now, in theory, this is so cute. I love this tradition of having a football game the morning of, because most guys will golf. Golf is long. It's expensive.
It's in the sun.
It's in the sun. Red. You're drinking all day. A football match, it's 45 minutes. It's quick. Everyone can
it's difficult to drink. The biggest thing is the drinking. They drink. They get flushed. The sun. It's too much.
Yes. Petition to implement a tradition of a football game the morning of, because you don't have to play. It's just a nice thing for the guys to kind of have some camaraderie around.
Right.
I nearly shit myself when who was being the commentator for the game, and they said
Uncle Willie Earl.
Willie, was it Uncle Willie Earl?
Sure.
He said Greg with the salt and pepper.
Yes,
Jerry Curl.
Loved it. Which I can't get enough of the salt and pepper Jerry Curl.
I mean,
that's what I'm looking for in a man.
Very handsome guy.
Right. So handsome.
But even though in theory the football game is something to enjoy, it quickly turns. So
sponsored by American Eagle, if anyone looked at the clothes.
I'm done. Oh my God, I didn't even notice.
the shorts, like plaid short. Oh, it was comical.
Our apostle.
Our apostle.
Our apostle. So this really made me laugh. Jason barely falls, and the best man is like,
Pooch with the dramatics.
Jason's hurt. No, he's not. He's literally fine. So Sabrina and Pam both come running.
This is hysterical, though, when Pam says she needs a pediatrician.
Oh my God.
I died.
Saying she needs a pediatrician.
Is me, because I went to my pediatrician, shout out Dr. Joe, until I was 27, and they told me to find a new doctor.
R.I.P. to you. I saw your son.
And then I started torturing him, a few years later with my own son.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
He didn't have too long of a gap.
And R.I.P. to his dad, the late Dr. John.
I cry every time.
Who saved my life.
His doctor into the office, his picture there.
He's a great man. I love Dr. John.
The best.
So much. But yes, Pam suggests that they call Jason's pediatrician, this 30-something-year-old man. And Sabrina's like, you're not fucking for real, right?
She's furious.
So then it gets into a heated argument between
where it
Sabrina and Pam. And at that moment, Pam.
And can you blame Pam in that moment? It was inappropriate, but she had
Sabrina that her parents aren't her parents.
Are you appalled by that?
Yes, it's the lowest blow.
I think why watching the film this time, I knew it. I had seen it before, and I knew that was coming, but saying it this time, I'm like, I don't blame her. She has been To me, she's the villain of the film, Sabrina.
It's
and she
not
has been outrageous this whole film.
Sabrina.
She does this sweet little voice with everything she says, and she's so rude, and she's so like, it's her day, it's her day. She put everyone out, her own parents. She put Shonda out. She put her mother-in-law to be out. She's putting her husband to be out. She's outrageous. And then she wants to sit and smile. Everyone's supposed to just be sweet to her.
But you know what's so funny about that? Pam does the same thing. You're just like, it's just from a different angle. So every time Pam's
I'm a mom
being
now, so I get it.
every time Pam's being so nasty, she goes like this and does this.
But
and
I
does
guess
this.
I just see right through that. You could see it's still so rude. From the get-go, she was so rude. I was appalled by Pam's behavior from the get-go.
But she does it with this.
But
face
it's,
and this
I know
and
she does it, but it
the
didn't
mommy
register to
face,
me.
the-
Yes, but it didn't register to me. The whole time I'm like,
She's just
Pam
being
is
rude.
outrageous.
Yeah.
Angela Bassett, outrageous.
Angela Bassett did
But
the thing.
Sabrina with that, like,
Yeah.
we got it. You're gorgeous. You can't treat people this way.
can't
You're
treat
a spoiled brat. And
It's not.
I was Team Pam when she came out with it. Like, you're not so perfect, bitch.
You could just say that and be like, ask your parents. Like she came out and
When
fucking
she came
told her
well,
that her parents weren't her parents. Like that
I'm
is
Team
dark.
Pam. I'm sorry. I know it was dark.
That is really wrong.
I know it was dark, but she was asking for it with her behavior. I was
Oof.
sick. I was sick of Sabrina at that point. It was too much. She was so rude the whole film. She was rude to Jason. She is so rude to Pam. She's rude to Shonda. What she did to Shonda with the electric slide thing was where
rude.
I was like, whatever happens to her from here on out, I've had it with her.
I don't give a fuck.
Right. I really felt that way. I was like, she's just so, she doesn't want anyone to feel comfortable but herself.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about anybody or how they feel with anything. She wants Pam to be uncomfortable. Well, guess what? Pam's going to make you uncomfortable now, bitch.
Pam did, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think that's the difference, though. I think Sabrina is just so selfish and bratty. It's not to make anyone feel uncomfortable, whereas Pam is set out to make people feel
And see,
uncomfortable.
at this point in my life, I'm like, even if you weren't, that wasn't your intention, the outcome is the same. Grow up. Read the
I think
room.
intentions
Think
matter.
before you talk.
I agree, but I do think intentions matter.
In this situation, there was so many things. It's like, just be more self-aware. You deserve this.
Yeah.
If it was one thing, like a little thing here and there, okay.
But Pam, it's hard. It's so much harder because Pam was never going to give her a chance, and she was so mean to her the whole time.
She was mean, but
She was never
instead of
gonna-
like reading the room, like Pam's so mad, like let me chill out a little bit. She was like, oh, let me tell her I picked an outfit for her or two. Let me
Right.
do that. Like, she didn't let up. She kept going. She kept digging. Like, you know, it's our day. I don't want to jump the broom. I don't want the when Pam said how important it was to her.
Yes.
The electric slide was important to Shonda.
You really are upset about the electric slide.
I just thought it was the root. Could you imagine doing that to it's
No.
nobody in your family? It's your mother-in-law to be's best friend.
Yes.
Who's just like
Which is
making
like
mention
my
about-
Beth.
Right.
Like Beth had a place of honor at my wedding.
And you know how much I love Beth.
Yeah.
Like, Beth's excited about something. Are you really going to shoot Beth in the
I
foot?
wouldn't dream of disrespecting
It's
Beth.
so rude.
Beth read at my wedding.
And my
She's-
mother-in-law's best friend is the sweetest person I've ever met in my
Yeah.
life. Like, I couldn't even imagine being rude to her. If
No.
I was excited about something, I would never.
honestly,
Like, I would have
shout
called
out.
the DJ right there and been like, oh my God, play the electric slide. Like,
Totally.
she needs this.
Just a quick aside, shout out to your mother-in-law's best friend. Because more often than not, they're the best.
oh, they really
They're
are.
they're such good people, and they just like
Oh, I
love
adore
and
her.
take
She
care
is
of
the
you.
sweetest
And they
person in
always
the
have
world.
like a little bit of sass to them, a little bit of
Yes.
bite, a little bit of fun.
Mine is truly just an angel who's going right to heaven. She's the nicest woman in the whole world, and she wouldn't even seeing Shonda like mention the electric slide excited would be how she would say something, because she wouldn't dream of asking us of anything ever.
Right.
Ever.
Aw.
Like, she's just a sweet lady. Like, so I think that's why I was so appalled at how rude Sabrina was to Shonda.
Sure. But let's get back
Go ahead.
to
Yes.
Jason flips out on Pam, and he's like, why do you think that I never introduced you? Because he finally admits it wasn't Sabrina, like you thought this whole time, who didn't want to meet you. I didn't want you to meet her because look at what you do. This is
Right.
the way you treat people. You are terrible to people. And yeah, duh, I didn't want you to meet my fiance. You're a nightmare. But
That being said, do you blame Jason?
I do blame Jason because he handled everything wrong, not only with his mom, but with his bride to be. Like a man. Jason does not deal with this in the correct way.
He doesn't.
Once,
But aren't you, Jason? I sympathize with him
no,
so bad.
no.
I am. It's like,
I would first say to my mom, I would say, listen, I love you. You are always my number one. You are my girl.
cool it, mommy.
Cool it, mommy. But I have this person in my life. And likewise, I would say,
Okay.
Sabrina, you're the love of my life. This is my mother. We need to like make her feel comfortable. She has a chip on her
Her
shoulder. He's not communicating.
No,
And that
he's
seems
not.
to be the crux of most of the prenup episodes. Communication is so important.
It is. It's important.
It's everything.
importante.
Importante.
Yes. Mhm. Yes.
But I just wanted to make another quick aside about Sabrina not being the daughter of Greg and Claudine.
Duh. Geneva's the most fun. But
Geneva's the most
go
fun.
ahead.
There's no fucking way that Sabrina is not Greg's daughter because those two look exactly the fuck
They
alike.
really do. I think that Paula Patton is his daughter in real life.
I think that's the real plot twist here.
Yes.
Yeah, she is daughter to
Right.
Brian Stokes.
Yes.
But fill in the gap for me here because I totally like forget how she makes it back home. How does Sabrina leave? She
So
calls off
every-
the wedding.
So,
I'm pleased, but then she's back. And
well,
why
she
is back?
immediately blames Jason.
Of course,
Which I felt
yeah,
so
she-
bad about.
she
But
hands him
then
the ring.
everyone goes to looking. And my favorite pair that goes to looking is Shonda and
Sebastian.
Romeo.
They're going to be in our standouts. We're going to talk about
Okay,
that.
all right, we'll get to them later.
Sebastian and Shauna.
Yeah, we'll get to. Okay, we'll get to them later. But
Yeah.
they find her because she calls Aunt Geneva,
Okay. Yes. Yes.
and the two of them chit chat on the boat named after Grandmere.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know why that was just totally, probably because I didn't make a note of it and it was just escaping me.
Such a nice scene to me, but I also wish when they were doing it that she would have called Angela Bassett there as well, and it was the three of them, talking, because I feel like Angela Bassett did have a soft side to her,
And Angela Bassett did the thing.
She did the thing. She would have did the thing there on
She would have done the
Grandmere.
thing. Mhm.
You
I know.
know?
I know. It would have been nice to tie
Yeah.
that in. Yeah, that was a mistake
Yeah.
on the director's part
Okay. Yeah.
or the writer, whomever was
So
responsible.
the two of them talk. Geneva explains herself. And she says, like, I was just too young. Like, I went, and it explains the constant French speaking in the film. The family has some connection to France. Geneva went to France as a young girl. She got pregnant with somebody who later told her they had a family. And as, Age said in the beginning, that, Greg and Angela Bassett were already married, and they took, at Grandmere's request, Sabrina as their own and raised her, and she's clearly did very well for herself.
Very well.
So it was for the best.
Yeah.
Geneva's been, a wild card throughout, and she comes in and out, and she's the fun aunt, and she explains herself. I wasn't fit to be a parent. It's a regret of mine, but I know it was the best choice.
Yes, and that's a beautiful moment. So then Sabrina does come back. She
Yes.
finds both an apology letter and a broom from Pam,
Who's leaving?
who she's seen herself out, and Sabrina goes after her and says,
In the dress.
In the
Which
dress.
that dress. Does anybody look better in anything?
hated it. Hated it.
Yeah.
I did not like that dress.
I loved it. I loved it on her.
You liked the dress?
Oh my God, I was obsessed.
Oh my God, I hated
You know,
the
I
like
like simple and plain, but I just thought
it just
she
felt
looked
that
unreal.
like 2000s beaded band.
That was the time.
I know, I just
There
hate
was
it.
no beaded band.
There was.
No.
I have to look
It
this
was
up.
a plain white dress. It was
No.
a yes.
It was a
I'm gonna
it was
get
a
it.
sweetheart strapless.
I loved this dress. I thought
There
she
was
looked so
there's
good.
beading right here on this breast line.
Where?
I'm looking at it.
How come I can't
See?
see it?
It's like
That is not them.
it's like let me get it.
I just think
Right
she
here.
looks so elegant and pretty. I don't see beading.
Well,
Like,
you're
for
about
me,
to
it's-
see it because I'm about to show you.
All right, go ahead.
Right here. right here.
Okay, underneath her body.
Under the breast. Something's wrong about the placement of the beading. I hate the way it's draped. I hate this dress so much.
Like, I think when you are built perfect like Paula Patton, you can literally wear everything.
Amazing in a paper bag.
Dress.
I hate
I
the dress.
thought she looked so gorgeous. I loved, I'm a sucker for like old nostalgia, like whatever. Look, I love her hair, like the way her hair is of the era.
It's just the dress is not
pulled
timeless.
back and beautiful.
Which
to
not
me,
all
it is.
dresses are. My dress was not timeless.
I think her dress is timeless.
You think this is a timeless dress?
I would wear it tonight.
No, you would not.
I would.
There's no fucking shot in hell you would wear that
I
dress.
would wear
You're a liar.
Get me that dress. Get me that dress. I'll wear it.
The lies.
I love it.
I think she looks absolutely gorgeous.
I didn't think there was a more stunning father-daughter duo since me and Dad.
So I'm with you. Oh my God.
Just kidding. But really, they look like I wrote that in my notes. I just loved the way the two of them looked.
Well, all right. Well, we'll get to that. Let's just finish out the movie really quick.
So she leaves the note in the broom.
Leaves the note in the broom. Sabrina runs after her. They make amends.
Yes.
The wedding goes off. It's a beautiful wedding. And we end the wedding with the Cupid shuffle. And I was going to ask you what your thoughts are on a line dance at a wedding and or anywhere else, but I think you've made it clear through the episode that it's pretty important.
If it's important to someone there, you need to do it, especially someone like your mother-in-law to be his best friend.
Listen, even for Beth, I would not be fucking playing the electric slide at the wedding. I would play it at the rehearsal.
I school if I requested the electric slide at your wedding, you're to play it.
No.
What is it to you? Do you care about 2 minutes? See, to me,
the wedding day goes so fast.
Some of my favorite memories of my life are line dances at other people's weddings.
Okay. Did you do the electric slide at your wedding?
I don't think they played it.
No, they didn't.
But there had to be some kind of. I have pictures of people doing line dances.
There was not a line dance at your wedding.
Well, that wasn't by my request.
You're right. It was by mine.
Age plan my wedding. But if you wanted something, I would have done it.
Tour. No. That's where you draw the line. Like, you would, of course, you would have like the fucking chicken dance. You think the chicken dance is hysterical.
Because the chicken dance can be done anywhere, anytime to any song.
No.
Test it, and ask anyone.
So at our friends Brad and Steph's wedding,
I was showing everyone.
Tour got hammered, and my mother-in-law was there also, and was just recording Tour all night dancing because she was doing the chicken dance.
The chicken dance goes to every song. Ask your mother-in-law for the video. It goes to every song. Just try it. It goes to every song.
All right, we're gonna test it right now. Are you ready?
Go.
No, it doesn't.
Give me another song.
Okay. Here's my story, sad but true, about a girl that I once knew. She took my love and ran around with every single guy in town. Hey, whoa.
It doesn't count. You could do it. You could make it to any tune. Trust me. If I was up and really doing it, you could do it to anything. You could. Chicken dance goes with every song.
You could do anything at any point, but should you is the question.
But I'm glad that you brought up the Cupid shuffle because I did have a note on that.
Yes.
I don't know if you recall earlier in the film, Blythe and Chef were caught in the kitchen.
Sure. Almost burned the house down.
Chef's pants were down.
Sure.
And I'm with Uncle Willie Earl here where I don't want anyone's private parts near food. That to me, there's nothing sexual should go on in the kitchen. I think it's disgusting. I don't like, and I'm taking it a step further. I don't want you to eat in bed either.
No.
Anything food with sexual is disgusting to me.
Carrie with the oranges in bed.
Yeah. Anybody, I don't even want you personally when Jake's on home to have a snack in bed.
I wouldn't dream of it. I wouldn't dream of it.
Don't eat. Nothing should be done in bed.
What do you think of a sexual endeavor with like chocolate syrup?
Disgusting. I think it's disgusting.
Me too.
I don't think you should.
What if it's like let me think about this. Okay. What if it was honey?
Disgusting.
Honey. Okay.
Anything that's edible.
What if
Even
it was like edible
toothpaste.
underwear? Like a candy.
It's not for me, but I get
It's better than
guess.
it's better
If
than
it's
something
made
runny.
to be something that you should use in bed.
I will
like,
say,
I'm sorry,
if
call
you
me-
are going to go an edible route and you want something
Right.
runny, maybe consider like olive oil or coconut oil. You'll get some health benefits as well, and it's a little less skeevy because the flavor isn't so overpowering.
Sure, but like to me, just like no. There's
Yeah.
things if you need those that they're at the store, you get some lubricants elsewhere. I don't want to hear about any food in the bedroom or bedroom foods. It's disgusting. I don't want to hear it. So if you watch this film, you saw that Chef and Blythe were caught in the kitchen.
Yes.
Uncle Willie Earl said it best. He doesn't want the private parts with the food.
Sure.
Disgusting. So Chef was caught doing something disturbing.
Correct.
You're lucky you kept your job, Chef.
Oh, yes.
Then we see Chef, who was caught with his pants down in the kitchen. Wouldn't you be on your best behavior
You would
after
think.
that? Cupid shuffle at the wedding. Chef, get back to the kitchen.
Yeah. And also Julie Bowen, the wedding planner, which we'll get to in our standouts. You also should not be doing the Cupid shuffle. You're there
Honestly,
to work.
though, I was embarrassed for everything she did. Like, I
She was
so
a bad
uncomfortable
wedding
to me.
planner, but that was the role of the movie, you
But
know?
they were abusive to her, and she was so like this things that came out of her mouth. I was like, stop talking, fire this, and then I was like to them, fire this woman. I couldn't watch anymore. It was too much.
I don't think she should have been fired because the wedding was beautiful.
It was beautiful, but like it.
But she should not have been doing any sort of line dance. I've had couples that I've gotten really close with, and they've pulled me out. They've wanted me to say, like, they've been very
Wetting myself,
loving and sweet. But it is like you're on the job, and like God forbid something goes amiss, and you're out on the dance floor line dancing. Like you can't. You're not there to party.
Right.
You're there to work. So yeah, that was Julie Bowen. Before we get to the standouts, how would you rate the movie on a scale from 1 to 10?
I'm gonna go right in the middle of 5.
A 5, okay. A 5 is a
Which to
good
me is
score.
being
Way. When I rate something a 5 or lower, that does not mean I didn't enjoy the movie.
Me either.
Early.
To me, if I'm at a 5, that means it's something I'll watch over and over again.
Totally.
A something borrowed. Like to me,
Something borrowed is a 5.
And there's movies that I love that are 10s to me that I can't watch every day.
Sure.
So this is one of those movies for me. It's a
Shawshank
5,
Redemption. A
which
10.
I love, but
I'll never watch it again.
I'll never watch it again.
No, I wouldn't do that to myself.
Right, but it's a 10. This film, I will watch this over and over and over again.
Like, okay, the best compliments you could get are a 5 to a 9
Okay.
or a 1.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I think those are the best movies because they're watchable. There's something about them. They're either like so comically bad or they just do something for you. But 10s are usually like, wow, this movie made me
So
feel.
good, but it was too.
want to feel
I
too
didn't
much.
want to feel. Sometimes I just want to watch a movie. I want it on in the background while I'm folding laundry.
Escapism. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I could watch this over and over and over and over again.
I will
It very
forever.
much gave me like even the way it was filmed very much reminded me of a something borrowed.
Definitely. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. How would you rate the wedding of Jumping the Broom?
Oh my gosh. 10. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous wedding.
Martha's Vineyard. 10.
You know what really made
Water,
me laugh though
music.
with the ceremony?
What?
It was such an obviously fake backdrop.
Oh my God, yes, I was cracking up, especially when they zoomed in on the bride and groom and you could see it was
Still,
fake.
yeah.
Which was odd to me because other scenes when they're walking with the reverend and all, it's like they were on the water. You couldn't just do that later.
Well,
maybe weather
I was just
permitting.
talking with, we have Nick DeRose of Visual Rose coming on the podcast, and we were talking
You
about,
should ask him.
well, he already came on, but we were
Oh.
talking about cinematography itself, and he's like, you know, shooting a wedding day, it's a lot like filming a movie. Some days you're going to get a rainy day and you have to work with it and you're
Right.
on a time crunch. Like maybe they just couldn't get that shot outside the way they wanted to. Like when you're filming certain scenes, you got to
Right.
make it work in some way,
That's
shape, or form.
right.
So I get it. They do end up jumping the broom, and I just made a note.
I
Was that
love
so
that.
hard? Honestly, it was the least of the issues. Like,
Exactly.
did it have to be that big of a deal? Why did she make it such a big deal? It was so cute.
Agreed.
Any standouts of the wedding for you?
Just that it was beautiful. Martha's Vineyard, the tent, like it just gave me a lot of feels of like Wedding Crashers, which is also one we should do one day. What
Definitely.
a gorgeous, gorgeous wedding that was.
Okay, I'll read you my standouts of the wedding. Hated Sabrina's dress. That was
I'm disappointed.
Sorry.
Okay.
I thought all the guys looked really handsome, specifically Greg.
I liked Pooch, and I couldn't get over Greg, the father, in the wedding. I thought he was such a handsome dad of the bride.
Yeah, he looked amazing.
I just loved it.
I thought Geneva looked gorgeous.
Oh, yes.
I thought she
So did
looked
Angela
the best.
Bassett.
She did, but I thought, and I think Angela Bassett is one of the most beautiful actresses, but I thought Geneva really looked so beautiful. I didn't like that they made Angela Bassett very mother of the bride, but I get it. Like, they're big money.
Yes.
You kind of have to go with that look.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to get to my movie standouts and just interrupt me if you have any that you want to go to. The first was the way they treated the planner was outrageous. I don't even remember her name, but yeah, she was just a big fat loser. Really good soundtrack. Not as good a soundtrack as my best friend's wedding or wedding singing, but very good.
Yes.
And all of the music so good. Let's give a little shout out to Robin Thicke,
which obviously I have a soft spot
of Paula Patton.
Ex-husband of Paula Patton, but when they started playing Magic, that's me and John's real song.
It's such a good song.
Which our wedding band wouldn't play. They said it was
too difficult a key.
Yes, because he does have a very high voice.
A falsetto,
but that's my real song, Magic,
it's such a good song.
And it just warms my heart.
Love that
I
song.
love the soundtrack.
And I wanted to give a shout out to All I Do Is Win, 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 No Matter What.
Excellent.
Which is one of Daddy's favorite songs.
And mine.
And yours. Yeah.
Yes.
So cute.
Yeah.
I noted the voice that Pam puts on when she's talking to the family, but you and I already touched on that.
Which is literally her voice in the whole wedding.
No, she does this thing where she's like this.
But she's always like,
No, she's like cocky with her real people. But
but always still sweet.
No, she does this thing with this smile.
She's barely, but she is sweet to, like, she does, even when she was mad at Jason. It honestly reminded me so much of you. Oh, you're saying Pam. I'm thinking Sabrina. I'm sorry.
No, Pam.
Sabrina really reminded me of you. Like, just so sweet in everything she said. Like, how could you possibly get mad at anything she says or does?
That's so nice. Do you think I'm that way?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God.
But also, like,
I wonder if my in-laws hate me.
You do everything. You do everything I ask you to do, but like I could see how it would annoy someone you don't do it for.
Sure.
Right. Do you know what I mean?
Hi, Jake.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to note Sebastian and Shonda forever. So Sebastian was, of course, Lil Romeo.
Yeah.
And he's a terrible actor.
Tia, I don't need a girlfriend.
Give me a chance. What did you think of the Romeo?
Honestly,
Sebastian
I wish
and
they
Shonda
didn't
relationship?
do like the height difference the way it was. Because when
loved
she
it.
had to bend to give him a kiss, I was like, come on.
It was so funny. I absolutely.
But I did like them.
Hysterical.
It's
so
comical, and I love that she was like not into it the whole time, but like was like, what am I gonna do? It's Lil Romeo.
Yeah, she's like, it was
because
hot.
we would all be the same.
Of course. If Lil Romeo comes a knocking,
right. Yeah.
You're gonna answer.
Right.
I wouldn't kick him out of bed.
Right.
Let's get to Blythe and Chef.
I told you, love me some Megan Good. Would love a sequel. Yes, Chef.
Yes,
starring Blythe and Chef.
Okay, so we have had some choice complaints, namely by my husband, about the way
Chef handled himself professionally.
No, the way in which I speak of how hot men are in every movie recap and review. Okay. I always harp on a man. So I am not going to talk at length about how hot I think Chef is, even in those overalls when he's fishing.
What is his name in real life?
I don't know.
I forgot because he's like a very he's in a lot of things. I think the one that stands out for me is that one he's in with Bruce Willis. Perfect Stranger, I think it's called.
Oh, I never saw it.
Watch it tonight.
I don't think I will, but I
don't watch it tonight. It's scary. Wait till you have a man in the house. It's scary. But it's so good. And I just want to say that his hair is darker and I don't know why they made him do
Gave
like
him
this
some
like
sun in.
blonde thing.
Yeah, they gave him a little sun in.
No.
It was working for me.
It worked, but if you see him with his real hair, Jake would be angry at your.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And he has it like really tight cut.
He's really handsome. Yeah. That hair was stupid. It made him like not cute.
He was cute to me,
He
but
was still cute, but like he's really handsome with his real look. I don't know why they went with this thing. And I also laughed 1,000
artist.
laughs when he's like shocking. What do they call that when he's like
the
in the
morning of the
overalls?
wedding and the overalls.
In the overalls, like on what planet?
The chef isn't going to do
taste?
that.
Like, stop
I know.
fishing. And then as he's leaving, I'm calling it the pier, but it's like the rocks where he was like getting.
Yes.
He says something about chicken, sir. You're getting fish.
Yeah.
There. What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about the chickens?
There's no chicken.
There's chickens in the ocean.
And then him just dancing a Cupid shuffle. How dare you?
What
How
was
dare
his?
you?
Did he have a name, or he just strictly goes by chef?
Chef.
Yeah,
I think it was chef.
love it.
Which I don't eat, but I thought his whole thing was a little much.
Yes, chef.
Yeah. But again, I would love a sequel. Yes, chef.
I would love a sequel. Yes, chef. And then my final note was my favorite quote of the movie. And I'm sorry, I will prep you with these for the next movie recap and review. I didn't give you a chance to give your favorite movie quote, but my favorite movie quote was from Shonda, and she said, "Rich people aren't happy because the money; they're happy because the bidets."
That's so beautiful.
I thought so too.
And it's funny, you didn't tell me about a quote, but I did note one quote.
Okay,
And it's from the very beginning of the film, from Jason. Don't tell the guys about this after they leave the opera. Don't tell the guys about this. They're still hazing me about the picnic we had in Central Park.
I'm done. Goodbye. Them
Right.
leaving the opera made me laugh so much.
And when I also translated one of the I don't know when you saw Paula Patton in her like lingerie just in her room. Jason like is like up at her window, sees her, and he says to her like say something in French. And I looked up the French pronunciation, like the translation.
Yes.
And she says something so hot in French.
What is it?
And the translation was, "Please don't be mad, but we can't have sex on our honeymoon because I'll be having my time of the month."
Oh my God, wait, that is so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah, I got a real chuckle from that.
Oh my God,
It made me laugh.
that.
Yeah, it was cute. And then when at the rehearsal dinner, when they're fighting and the Angela Bassett screams something in French, she says something about Greg being a cheat.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I have to say, I really enjoyed this.
I did too.
I really enjoyed myself.
Yes.
What was the last one that we did?
Why can't I remember? It was our two-parter.
Oh, it was the Sex and the City. Yeah.
Sex and the
Sex and the
City,
City. Yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed myself.
This was fun. Yeah.
I'll leave this in the show notes, but you can watch Jumping the Broom on Hulu.
Hulu.
Well, Vic, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's such a treat. Taking time out of your busy pants shopping schedule.
To plant some celebrity trees. It's funny, speaking of
Technically a wedding movie.
Yeah.
Clueless.
it is. We should do that.
Tenderness.
There's two weddings in that, is there not? No,
Just the one.
just the one.
I love that song at the end. Maybe I'll listen to
such a
that.
good one, yeah. Such a good one.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Vic.
Thanks
Till
for
next
having
time.
me. Peace.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode today. Please like, review, rate, subscribe, follow, whatever the things are. It's really, really helpful. If you do support us, there's something in it for you too. You'll have the opportunity to win a free Pre Nup bridal prep planner. We give one away every month. I have the directions on how to do that below, so make sure you check that out. Thank you again for listening. Happy planning. See you next Wednesday.